Yep. All right, right front fender. I'm going to start with pounding this out, or trying to anyway, and kind of evening out this that crease there, for lack of a better term. And I'll be doing that from the back. This one here, if I can get to it, I think I can, but that's going to be kind of a tough call. And goddamn mosquitoes in here. And then cleaning up the rust, the junk, the stuff all over the place. I'm going to re-clean this stuff out. Again, that's surface rust. You can see how it's coming right off, mostly. And let's try it. Yeah. So again, that's 20 minutes of orbital sander, and I'm down to virgin metal again. I'm just not looking forward to. Well, then again, I don't know. This fender is a fucking hash job. So a seam of Bondo through here, and then some up in here. This area here needs to be pounded in that way a little bit, I think. Yeah, I can do it. And then let's see if I can even this out a little bit. Although that's a good seam. It just needs some Bondo in there, honestly. Maybe I'll grind it down so it's smoother, but yeah. So I'm gonna get right to it. It's hammer time. Well, I'm done. Well, I'm done pounding anyway. I need to strip all the junk and rust and stuff off. This here, actually here, is where that seam used to be, where it made the this portion just go down in there. So you're following it there with my finger, down a little bit here, and actually that's pretty much where it ended. So I got that out as best I could. It was much more pronounced earlier, and the pieces that were, square shaped here and here are pounded out. This I didn't attempt because there's another piece behind it that I can't get out. So won't worry about it. That'll be my little secret with Bondo, and yours too. So don't tell anybody. Shh. What's next is to strip the rust down and clean up this forward edge. I'll hang it up like I did this one and paint prime both tonight. Yeah. And there are a couple other, well, shit. And there's that to fill. Might as well do that once I'm done de-rustifying this thing. And I pounded this out a little bit. Yeah, I'm not a skilled welder, and I'm not a skilled hammerer. So you can see some of the spots there. Yeah. I'll smooth this down. And then fill it. Bondo, yeah. Don't have much of a choice if I want to keep this fender. The amount of time I'd spend on this, I'm going to spend on this to get it to perfection, will be probably tens of hours. And I'm talking Bondo and smoothing and block sanding and smoothing again, and on and on and on. Need to fashion that piece, that won't be tough, and make that nice and seamless as well. So, the lion's share of the work I've got ahead of me is the block sanding, which isn't too awfully bad, but it is time consuming and such. So, I'm going to start. And I am done, actually, with the stripping. I have ground down this. It's nice and smooth here. Well, I shouldn't say smooth, but it's smoothish, smooth-esque, and will take its way well to Bondo. Well, not Bondo, not a whole lot. Well, maybe a whole lot, who knows. This, I took a lot of time with. I tried to grind this on as best I could, and make it as smooth as I could across this way. Although, in retrospect, I don't think it matters a whole hell of a lot. Do I have a straight edge here? No, I don't. If one takes a straight edge with a lot of Bondo here, all this crap I ground out and made smooth isn't going to matter. because there's a nice good indentation down this way and from this way. So there's a slight V that you can kind of see. Maybe, yeah. See that? Right there. So I need to smooth that out. Put some Bondo in there, smooth it out nice and evenly. And what I thought was an absolute train wreck of a front end on the nose of this thing may not necessarily be so much. And you'll see that tons of train wreckedness here, and tons of train wreckedness here, and here, all of which will get a nice, all of which will get a nice even coat of a body filler, and then ground down to a smooth substrate. I've done worse. Actually, now that I've stripped this down even more, I've worked on worse. So, and I've conquered worse. So, you know, my thought on finding a new nose on this thing, or a new fiberglass fender for this thing, maybe not. I don't know if there's any life lesson there. Believe in yourself, kids, and you know, any of the bullshit. Who knows? I don't know, but you know, I'm gonna work this out. I'm gonna pound that down a little bit, make it nice and even there, and then I'm gonna fill all of this with fiberglass resin from the other side. I'll show that to you in a sec, and make it smooth, grind it down nice and smooth, and nobody will know the difference except me and the 2 people who watch my videos. All right, I think I've got, what, 28 subscribers. So I do offer free Jag E-types if you like me a million times or more. I've also ground all this crap down. I've de-rustified it down to that flange seal, and you'll see how pristine and perfect that reflection is. And if you call a bullshit flag, then I'll give it to you, because it's not pristine, nor is it perfect. I have a lot of work on this to do. I'm gonna prime this tonight. Damn the time. I've got tomorrow off, which is a Friday, so that's happy for me. I've got Hurricane Florence coming through. I live in the DC area, and apparently it's coming through. I'm gonna park here, so I mowed my lawn tonight, and it's gonna get watered like a banshee. I don't know if a watered like a banshee makes any sense, but it does to me, because I had a glass of wine or two. And, you know, really, I was going to say something optimistic. This is just really not that bad. It's bad. It is. Actually, so here's a low spot. Big deal. I can pound that out again. In terms of raw, you see how dirty I am. Raw spots of, oh my godness, those are gone. I pounded those out. This is the only, you know, from here between my 2 fingers, I'll need to fill. And then a couple spots over here, but, so, you know what, there is a life lesson here, what the hell. If you are afraid of metalwork, yeah, God bless you, because I am too, was, and with half an hour to 45 minutes of pounding with one of these things with a flat face on it, and this in some of the easier spots to get to, and this one when I wanted to kind of, you know, not be too aggressive, or if you don't want to use that, use that. It's the same thing. Metalwork is not that tough. It's a lot easier with this thing off the car. Where's my dolly? I did use this as well on some of the spots where I had pounded this down too far. I use this to even it out, and this doesn't need to be this. This doesn't need to be this puck dolly. It could be any piece of hard metal. It could be right there. It could be this. It could be that. It could be this. It could be anything with a hard enough surface to offer some resistance against what you're hammering. So, yeah, this stuff is actually quite enjoyable for me. This is the part I really, really enjoy. Honestly, I do. Yeah, don't be daunted by it. It's not that bad, not that tough, and it's, for me anyway, quite enjoyable. I am filthy. Let me see. Yeah, I am filthy, and yeah, this is the stuff I love, absolutely love. once I'm done here, I'm going to turn on some German metal music. I'm going to rock my garage out, drink some more wine, and have a good time. I love doing this. Love it. Here's the piece I'm going to cut out for my my antenna hole. I found a highlighter and made my CAD model or pad model, paper aided design, and a child's using this cool Sharpie pin thing. So gotta use what you gotta use, right? I'm gonna cut that out and shape it, mold it, and weld it in. If it's not perfect, I couldn't give a crap because I'm gonna fade it. I'm gonna fill it in with some of this stuff, my tiger hair. God damn it! If you haven't used this stuff, you really need to because you're selling yourself short. This is awesome stuff. Yup, and yup. All right, so I have more or less cut out a circular piece. It's not perfect, but I tend to shave things down too close. God knows I'm a man, I just like to shave things. And what I'll do is this is behind the whole piece. That's what's holding it in. I'll zip it there and there, and maybe on each side there and here, definitely to keep it in place. I'll take the magnet out once I'm done there. I have no intention on zipping this all around. What I'm going to do is fill this in then with my tiger hair so it's nice and smooth. So here's the thing. I can cover the back side of this, see the back side of this, with duct tape or some other straight piece. Put that tiger hair in, let it harden, and it'll be structurally sound. But over time, as the fender flexes, as you hit road bumps and so forth, that fiberglass may come apart. It may crack, it may whatever. So for a, what is that? Maybe a millimeter size of a gap there, that's nothing. This large piece here, you can see how large it is in relation to my finger there. This large piece here will offer the structural stability that you need for any other Bondo or plastic filler or polyester filler or epoxy filler. So I'm going to do that here. So zip, and yeah, zip. I'll grind it down nice and smooth and then tiger hair the rest of it. Yep. All right, and there we go. I'm done. This is welded in as much as I want to weld it in, and you can see that there are some areas here that I've not filled. Did it on purpose because if I fill it and then fill it and fill it, I, one, waste my welding wire, and two, well, I'm not that good of a welder. Let's just face it. And two, I'm gonna fill this from the back side with my my tiger hair. And again, if you're just joining, this is tiger hair. This is it. Okay, it's long strand fiberglass reinforced body filler, as you can see. I just read. This stuff plus this catalyst mixes up and cures in about a second. I probably had too much catalyst, but god damn, that's good stuff. If you ever fiddled with fiberglass and the, what do you call it, the mat, you put the mat down, then you mix up your resin, and then you soak the mat, and then you put on layer 2 and yada yada. It's a pain in the freaking ass. This stuff is that mat shredded up into bits. And let me see if I can open that up for you. There it is. Hold on. There it is. That stuff, and then mixed up. Oh, I love that smell. Oh, it's good stuff. And then mixed with the hardener, it hardens. And then you grind down the shape that you need it to be ground down to, which is what I'll do. Really, all I wanted to do was make a good, strong substrate for that stuff. That'll then fill in the holes, and I grind it down to happiness and smoothness. And anything I can't get with that the tiger hair, I get with a skiff of Bondo, and you never know the difference. And after shaking and rattling, rolling in Death Valley heat and Icelandic cold, all of which I've been to, by the way, that that maintains its shape and its non-crackingness and the whole 9 yards. So it's about 9 o'clock. It's Thursday. What is today's date? I have no idea. It's September something. Maybe I'll be able to finish this off tonight. I think I will be. That's my plan. I'm going to paint tonight too, or prime tonight anyway. Jesus Christ. Alright, I probably mixed too much hardener in this because it set in... Jeez, God. It's set in probably 2 minutes. Which is, I mean, I don't mind, but, you know, here's what I've got left on my little my little thing here, and you can see it's already hardened up. This is literally 2 minutes after I mixed this. Again, I don't mind. I'm a patient man, and even though I look like a 46-year-old person, I'm only 16. And I'm gonna be able to. Wow, it's hot too. I'm gonna be able to grind this down here in probably 5 minutes. I put too much on. I did it on purpose. Again, I'm trying to make this as smooth as possible before I put Bondo or something else on it, and Bondo's probably in 3 or 4 or 5 days, if not longer. And this stuff is, my goodness. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Like I said before, my goal for all of this is to be ready for primer, final primer, and maybe even paint by Christmas. I might get there. I might get there. And there's my filled-in hole. It's not perfect. I didn't mean it to be. At some point, this is going to get bonded over for the nice, smooth skim coat. I could have gotten it more perfect, but again, I don't really care at this point. This stuff is going to be rock hard. It's done and set, and you can see it's ground down. But in 24 hours, this will be rock fucking hard. And then at some point, from about here to here, a very thin coat of Bondo to smooth it out. So let me show you the other side. There is the other side. Here. Again, just as smooth as the other side. I'm going to repaint this. I'm going to reprime this here in probably 20 minutes or so when I'm ready and set up and done. Let me give a quick recap. Dust, wow. I'm going to have to de-dust this before I prime it. I understand that this is not perfect, and there are dust bits and high bits and low bits and fucked up bits and not fucked up bits. All I'm doing right now is sealing this metal with epoxy primer. And then over the epoxy primer, I'll do the Bondo and the, what do you call it? Skim coats. God dang it. Glazing putty. There you go. And then over all of that, once that's all smooth, and once this surface is perfect, I then put primer sealer or more primer. Probably just primer sealer because I don't know if it costs less or not. But I have work in here to do, but not much. Maybe some grinding down, but I'm done grinding, so I may just fill it up with resin. And then some work in here. And then a lot of smoothing. A lot of smoothing. So, again, next step, epoxy primer as a sealant. Epoxy primer then takes the coat of all the Bondo and so forth on top of it. Bondo, by the way, loves water, and if you put Bondo directly over metal, there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to seal it on top of that with something that doesn't attract water. That being the epoxy primer coat. That stuff directly on top of metal with Bondo over it, you'll never get rust through or surface rust or whatever. So, oh yeah, oh that's ugly as piss, but yeah. Next step, I think priming that, yeah. And I am done with that. Hung up like a slab of beef and painted like a Fender. Epoxy primer goes on really, really nicely, and I took my time with a not very wet coat, a couple of them, and you can see what I got there. I actually have this part, and on the other side the same thing. The other side, the underside that's facing the floor right now, to do still. I'll do that tomorrow. There you go. So there's the left fender. Let me see if I can get this going a little bit. And the right fender. And it's still wet. God damn it. Come on, you fucker. Anyway, there we go. So you can see the imperfections in the reflection. Same thing with this one. Again, I'm not worried about the imperfections right now because this is not the final coat. I will be doing my Bondo and skim coats and body priming and all the other crap on top of this. I'm looking for a sealant, really. And once all that crap is done, wow, look at that. God damn, I missed that. Anyway, so once I'm done with the Bondo and the body filling and the shaping and the block sanding and all this and all the crap, you won't see a lot of these issues. The nice thing about the Bondo, the nice thing about the epoxy primer, it's kind of a higher build stuff. A little bit of a a low spot there, and some fucked upness there. Wow, wow, for that. But that fills very easily with Bondo, and then gets sealed on top of that with either primer sealer or more epoxy primer. So I'm not too displeased by this. I am extremely excited that I didn't have any drips or runs. So there we go. Yeah, not unhappy at all. That's not a bad evening's worth of work.